Hi everyone, I'm Tanya. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about how to stop your dog from dragging you down the street. And I always like to say training is about synergy. So it's not just training this, but it's everything else that comes into your dog's life. And one of those things is to make sure that you're providing your dog lots of mental enrichment and stimulation, and that will actually make leash walking easier for you. If you're not doing those things, leash walking is going to be more of a challenge. If you have the opportunity, do some kind of enrichment activity before you take your dog for a walk as well, because that's also going to make it easier for you to walk your dog, because your dog is going to be already engaged and mentally stimulated, so walking isn't going to be the end-all be-all of everything. So before your walk, give them a licky mat. If you have a fenced-in yard, maybe toss some treats into the yard, ask them to do a sniffy sniff, let them find those snacks, walk with them around the yard, point out fun things. If you do that, you're also teaching your dog that you're pretty valuable, which again is going to make walking much easier on both of you. Now let's talk about gear. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It tells YouTube that you like the video and shows it to more pet parents and keeps our content coming your way. First thing first, I hate the extendy leads, and anyone who's a professional dog trainer, pet sitter, veterinarian office is probably going to say the same thing. So dump those extendy leashes. Me, I prefer a 6-foot leash because that gives me the flexibility to have 6 foot, or I can hold it a little shorter if I need to have 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, but that's my go-to. I also like leashes that have a safety latch, that way they're not going to pull it down and snap out. And finally, I walk my dog on a harness. Harnesses aren't going to teach your dog to pull. It's the training you put in that's going to make the difference. You don't slap on a harness and they go, oh, I'm in a harness, I'm going to pull now. I avoid leashes attached to collars because I think that they're too dangerous and too harmful for the trachea. I will also put some links in the description below about some of the research that backs that up. But whatever equipment you choose to use, make sure it's fit properly. Because a harness that's not fit properly, they can sneak out of it. A collar that's not fit properly, they can sneak out of it. So you want to make sure everything's secure and fits for your dog. So to start teaching your dog to walk politely on a leash, hi everyone, are you loving this content so far? Do you want to dive even deeper into the world of positive dog training and natural care? If so, you'll want to join my amazing community on Patreon. I have a variety of tiers to meet everyone's needs. Plus, by becoming a member, not only will you receive fun perks, your support also helps me continue creating the content you love. So thank you, and let's get back to the video. You can actually teach your dog to walk next to you without a leash inside your house or in your fenced-in yard. Something that's a little less distracting, because the concept is just to teach your dog to be with you and that you're rewarding. So you also want to have some high-value treats to reward your dog. So I like to use meat. So cooked meat, dehydrated meat, freeze-dried meat, because then I can use those rewards as part of their daily nutritional needs. So there isn't anything extra. Pure meat, no fillers. And I might walk around the house and say, Dexter, give him a reward. I better watch out how I say that. He's under the table, he might pop up. And I'm gonna walk around, give him a reward for hanging out with me. I like to throw in sniffies as well. Dogs love to sniff. So if he's paying attention to me, we're walking in the yard, he's paying attention, I give him a reward, and then I say, go sniffy sniff. And that's a double reward. He got a food reward, and then he got a second reward of sniffing, which is really what he wants to do in the first place. So double up. You can practice with your dog's harness and leash on as well, inside, outside, so they're getting that foundation of what it is that you expect them to do, getting a high rate of reinforcement without very many distractions. Because you want to start with your dog's training where they can be successful. When you start thinking about going for that walk in the neighborhood, sometimes you might need to put your dog into the car and go to a different environment, because it depends on your neighborhood. If your neighborhood is really stimulating, you might need to go somewhere where it's a little quieter. You might need to go somewhere where there's a little more space that you can move around, that your dog can get rewarded with sniffing, pay attention to you, maybe an open field, because we want to make sure that you can reward your dog for good behavior. When I go to walk my dog, I think about two things. I think about how much food I'm going to give my dog during that walk, or how much time I have for that walk. I don't think about distance. So I don't tell myself I'm going to go around the block. I'll use one of the other two scenarios. I have 20 minutes to walk my dog, or I have a half of a cup or a cup of food to walk my dog. And when I get to that halfway point, I turn around and come home. because I want to make sure that I still have enough rewards to get me home. And at the very beginning, if I want to reward my dog for loose leash, so that might be 1-step reward, 2 steps reward, 1-step reward sniff, that sort of thing. I need to go small enough that my dog can be successful. So as you can see, we might just get down the driveway, but it will get easier over time. So you're going to get more steps over time before you need to give the reward. If your dog pulls or lunges forward, then that tells me that I need to tell them that we're not going any further. So that behavior means I stop, I turn around, change directions, I ignore the dog, but we're not going to go forward. And this is one of the reasons why I really like harnesses, because I don't have that pressure on the neck. Because if I stop and I have a tight leash, it's going to be positioned around his chest and not his neck. And when I stop, I may wait for him to pay attention to me on his own. So I'm standing there going do 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 do. And when my dog finally goes, oh, what the heck, what's going on, Tanya? And looks up at me, I can reward my dog for looking up at me and making a good choice. Or we can move forward, or I can do both. I can reward my dog for looking up at me, tell him how smart he is, and then move forward. So again, my dog is learning tight leash, mom's a statue. Tight leash, we change directions. How that's boring, I can't get to where I wanted to go. Loose leash, we move forward. And it's gonna take practice. If I find myself in a situation where I'm hitting the leash, hitting the leash, hitting the leash, then I'm likely doing one of 2 things. I'm either in an environment that's just too stimulating for my dog and they just, they can't handle it yet, and I need to go somewhere that's not quite as exciting. Or, and it could be an and/or, I don't have the right rewards that are getting my dog's attention. That value isn't high enough. I need to have a value that my dog goes, I don't need to look at the leaf that blew over there because you have this. And as time goes on and you're working with your dog and you're training with your dog and you're learning these new behaviors, you're going to be able to change things eventually. Lower value rewards, less rewards, but don't do that too fast. The problem I see a lot of is that people expect their dogs to learn these things quickly and they start dropping all those rewards, and then they don't really teach the dog what it is that they want. And this is one of the main reasons why I like to use the right foods for rewarding my dog, because I just try to incorporate their daily caloric needs during training. My dog eats meat, he's going to get meat during his training instead of in the dog bowl. So he's working for his food and he's learning what I want him to do while earning his keep. Try not to get frustrated. It is going to take time. It can be a very challenging behavior for a lot of people to teach because dogs are so excited. What's this? What's that? What's this? What's that? Which is why, again, we want to make sure that we're meeting those enrichment needs and you're offering sniffing opportunities during your walk, because that's going to be enjoyable for your dog and it's going to burn off some extra calories. But you want to make sure that you're using those sniffing opportunities the right way. So it's not that my dog dragged me over to the sniffy spot. He did something that I liked and I said, well, let's go sniff. And we went to the sniffy spot. So the way I teach them that is I'll say a cue like sniffy sniff, and I might have to show them at first, oh, look it over here, oh, look at here. And remember, I said that if you point things out in the yard and you're going, oh, wow, look at this, that makes you more valuable. It makes them want to pay attention to you a little more. So if I see my dog is maybe a little distracted, but he hasn't done anything, he hasn't pulled yet, then I might go, hey, Dexter, did you see this? And I can redirect him to something else before he's done a behavior I don't like. If I'm pointing to the ground and he sniffs, he smelled something good and he thought I found it. So, wow, how valuable am I? And after we're done sniffing, I say, okay, let's walk. And we go back to walking. So it has a process. Let's go sniff. We sniff, I tell you we're all done, and we go do something else. So remember, patience is crucial in teaching your dog how to walk on a leash, because we walk slow, we're boring, we walk on the path. Dogs don't like walking on the path, so get off the path. Have a good time with your dog. And until next time, remember to pause and enjoy life, and we'll see you in the next video. Do I have any Cavalier King Charles Spaniel families out there? Do you want to connect with other Cavalier parents who truly get it? If so, make sure you join our vibrant and positive Cavalier Facebook group. Dexter and I can't wait to welcome you. If you're enjoying today's video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I dive deep into all things dog training, natural care, and healthy living for you and your dog.